Hello, welcome to video 3 of my Angular tutorial series, Web Services and the HTTP Client. Okay, so we're going to try and kill two birds with one stone today. We're going to generate a Angular service and look how to use that in our components. And also we're going to look at using the HTTP client module to query an API. And that API that we're going to use today is my little coffee API that I've got going on here. Just gives us some JSON with 3 brands of coffee that I've made up. So we're going to query that with our HTTP client module, and we're going to use our service to do that. And then we're going to inject our service into our Angular component, which is our coffee list component. So you'll see at the moment we've got a hard-coded array of coffee, which is currently getting outputted in our app, but we're going to replace that with this response that we're getting back from my mock API. So first things first, we need to generate a service, don't we? So let's have a think. Let's create a services folder in our project. Good to keep things organized. And let's do a little trick, open in terminal. And the command to generate a service is just ng, G for generate, S for service, and then the name of our service, which we will call coffee service, because that's what it goes to get. So hit enter, and it should generate for us, our service class here. And you'll see you've got a little decorator there, injectable, and that's provided in root. So that means that all components that belong to root will be able to get hold of this service, and you'll see that in action a bit later. So we've got our service generated, but we also need something very important to query our API. We need to import the HTTP client module. Hopefully said that all in the right breath. And let's have a look at our app module. And we need to import this from Angular, the Angular library. So import HTTP client module, and we'll import that from Angular /common/HTTP. And then we need to just add that into our imports here so that our app can use it. HTTP client module. There we go. Everything's happy. No complaints there. So we've got that in place. So now we can start using that in our service. So to bring in the HTTP client, we just need to add it into the constructor. So private, call it HTTP, and then we just bring in HTTP client. And you'll see the little import up there, just in case you don't get that automatically imported. That's just what you need to add at the top. So we've got our constructor here now, so we're ready to use that in our service methods. So let's have a think. We'll call the method get coffee. That's quite safe to use. And let's get using that HTTP client. So you'd say let's return this.http.get, and what are we going to get? So let's have a look at our structure of our little JSON objects here. So it's just got a name property. I haven't got an interface, but I could create one here. I think that'll be safe. So We just do export interface. And what is that? Let's call it a coffee, shall I? There we go. And it's just got a name property, and that name will be a string. So got our nice coffee interface, and now we can use that in the type referencing there. So now we just need to add the URL that we're going to hit, which is this one up here. Can copy and paste that out. So localhost coffee, and that's our basic GET request. Still nothing showing in our app because we need to start using it in our component now. So let's go to our coffee list component, and this coffee list, we don't want to be a hard-coded array anymore. Let's create a new, I'll just call this API when the type referencing isn't showing. Coffee list. And let's say that's an observable. That's what's returned from the GET request. And that should contain an array of coffee, all being well. We just need to make sure we can use that, import that interface from the service. And it's still shouting at us because we need to initialize it. I always forget to do this and wonder why I've got red squigglies everywhere. So we just need to import our service now, which is as simple as putting an argument in the constructor. And we've got our coffee service. Let's call it coffee service. Give it a type there. Make sure we import it in the reference. So we've got our coffee service ready to go. And now the coffee list. Move this out of the way for you. So we're going to initialize this variable now, which is our array of coffees as an observable. So we just do this dot API coffee list is this dot coffee service dot should have get coffee. And why is that shouting at us? Let's have a look. Because our reference is wrong. Let's just make sure that we know what the return type is, keeps everything nice, and it's worked there. So we've initialized that now, and we're still not getting our coffee coming out of here because we need to add it to our HTML again, don't we? So let's go to the HTML file of our coffee list component, which is showing all this. We will create another unordered list underneath our hard-coded one. Create our list item again. Shove an ng4 in it. There. Let's do let C of API coffee list. Complaining because we need to make sure we've got the async type on it. That will subscribe to our observable. And if you're not too sure what that is, I might do a video on observables just on its own, but it's quite a complex topic, so it needs its own video most likely. But this will make sure it's subscribed to and get the data out. So you can see here, it knows that it's got 3 items to show from our API, but we just need to use our curly brackets again. So C. Still not showing anything this time, and that's because we need to just tap into the name property that we get back. And there it is. There's our API response. that we get from our coffee endpoint. So I hope that helps, and stay tuned for the next video.